Regarding how to abandon discursive thoughts, Gyalse Tokme Zangpo Rinpoche, 1295 to 1369, offers us the following great pith instructions. First, do not dwell on thoughts about the past. Past joys and sorrows are like ripples on the water. They have disappeared without a trace. Don't dwell on them. If they were to surface in your thoughts, reflect on how success and failure come and go. Apart from Dharma, what else can you rely on, people of Maniwa? Some monastics always linger on the past, thinking how I used to love, how I used to fight, etc. Some lay practitioners also like to boast about the past, saying how I used to be this or that. When they talk about the past, they shed tears at one moment and become ecstatic at another, like a crazy person. Longchenpa said, "Yesterday's event is gone, so there is no need to think about it." If you really want to reflect on the past, then you should think about how success and failure come and go. For example, what used to be a bustling place has now become ruins. A once rich person is now a pathetic beggar. A once vagabond is now a millionaire. A once happy family is now broken. Contemplating the principle of impermanence is of great help to our Dharma practice, because you will be convinced that nothing can be trusted other than the Dharma. As the Sutra of Instructions to the King says, for a dying person, the only refuge and protection is the Dharma, and nothing else. Therefore, when listening to or practicing the Dharma, there is no need to linger on the past. You'd better not talk about the past, because this generates nothing useful. If the past comes to your mind, you should take it as a reminder of impermanence, which can be of help to your practice. Then you will feel that nothing is reliable except the Dharma. Second, do not continuously fantasize about the future. Future plans are like nets cast on dry land. They will never bring what you expect. Do not fantasize about them. If they were to surface in your thoughts, reflect on how uncertain it is when you will die. Apart from Dharma, what else do you have time for, people of Maniwa? A Tibetan proverb says, hope is always surrounded by despair. Some people speculated in the stock market or invested in real estate last year, thinking that they would surely make a fortune in the future. They even started to make plans for further investment. However, contrary to their plans, the global financial crisis swept away their wealth and shattered their dreams. Such cases are so numerous that we should forego planning for the future. But if the future comes to your mind, you should contemplate how uncertain when your life will end. It is certain that every one of us will die, yet it is uncertain when we shall die. Thus, whenever you contemplate impermanence, you will have a strong sense of urgency, and then you will diligently accumulate merits and purify obscurations, leaving you no time for non-dharma, including idling around mindlessly. Third, do not disturb your mind with the present. Present matters are like a job and a dream. They don't deserve your diligent pursuit. Do not disturb your mind with them. If they are to be done, do it appropriately without any attachment. All present activities are devoid of meaning. People of Maniwa, don't get too attached to your present work. You should consider it a dream or an illusion, which appears but lacks essence. No matter how much effort you devote to work, it is pointless. But if the present comes to your mind, then whatever you are doing, be it eating, walking, talking, or sleeping, you shouldn't be too attached. Otherwise, afflictions will arise. Many people don't know that all phenomena are illusory and dreamlike, and instead, they perceive everything as truly existing. Because of such attachment, they commit various wrongdoings. When guided by the views of no attachment, no grasping, emptiness, and dreamlike existence, we know that worldly activities are without essence. The only meaningful thing is practicing the Dharma, and we should abandon wrongdoing that brings harm to our future rebirths. Then, Gyalse Tokme Zangpo Rinpoche summarizes his advice in the following verse. Between your meditation sessions, take control of your thoughts that arise from the three poisons. Until all thoughts and appearances arise as Dharmakaya, during indispensable moments of contemplation, do reflect in this way. Do not indulge in deluded thoughts, people of Maniwa. In this context, three poisons should be interpreted as 3 times. Lama Yukok Choying Rangdrol also mentioned 3 times in his commentary on the words of my perfect teacher. This interpretation makes the verse easier to understand, since the previous verses are about the past, the future, and the present, and this verse is the summary. In the Tibetan language, 3 poisons, tib dupsum, and 3 times, tib dusum, differ by only 1 syllable. To summarize, between meditation sessions, you should learn to control all thoughts about the past, the present, and the future. When listening to or practicing the Dharma, it is important not to linger on the past, as such thoughts are of no use. You should not fixate on the present or get distracted by anything around you, and you should not fantasize about the future or daydream about something illusory. We ordinary people have few plans about the Dharma, yet innumerable plans about the non-Dharma. When attaining the bhumi of bodhisattvas, all thoughts and external appearances are the displays of Dharmakaya. However, before you reach such a state, you'd better not chase after thoughts about the past, present, and future. If such thoughts come to mind, you may transform them into the Dharma path with mindfulness and vigilance. Make sure you have the means to control the thoughts instead of being carried away by them. Otherwise, you cannot succeed in listening to teachings and in practicing the Dharma. Gyalse Tokme Zangpo Rinpoche also said, "Don't fantasize about the future. If you do, you're like the father of famous moon." This refers to a well-known Tibetan folktale with a moral about fantasizing about the future. There was once a poor man who received a large pile of barley. He carefully placed it into a big sack, secured it to a rafter, and then settled down beneath it, lost in his thoughts. "This barley will surely bring me great wealth," he pondered. "Once I am wealthy, I will find myself a wife, and we will surely have a son." Just as he contemplated this, the moon emerged, and he resolved to name his future son Famous Moon. Unbeknownst to him, a rat had been continuously nibbling at the rope that supported the sack. Without warning, the rope broke, causing the sack to crash down upon the man, ultimately resulting in his demise. This folktale has a different version. Once, a poor man came across a large pile of barley. Since he had no house to store it, he carried the sack with him when crossing mountains. One night, he had to spend the night on the top of a steep hill, and at the bottom of the slope was a big lake. At bedtime, he started to daydream. The plot is basically the same as the above one. "Now that I have this big sack of barley, I will be rich. Once I am rich, I will have a wife who will have a boy. What shall I call my son?" Just then, the moon appeared, so he decided to call him Famous Moon. At that moment, the moon rose from the eastern mountain, and the moonlight shone upon him. This made him very happy, thinking, "I am thinking about Famous Moon, and the moonlight is on me. Everything will be fine from now on." Feeling excited, he stretched his legs and accidentally kicked away the sack, which fell into the lake. He was so sad that he threw himself into the lake as well. Therefore, before Famous Moon was born, the father had already left the world.